Timothy.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Good, bud. How are you?
Great. As usual, just finished work. Happy to
Mm-hmm.
talk to you. It's been a while.
It has been about a month. We're here, audio and video once again. I think the video was a big hit last month, so we'll keep the train a rolling. Sorry about my room here. This is the studio. We're in
Yeah,
the
man.
studio. Sometimes the studio's a mess. You know what I mean? We just did DTM a couple days ago, and I haven't had time to break it all down. So there's cords and microphones. But guess what? I'm real. This is real life. Capiche? It's about 5 o'clock, and this is the last day that we'll be talking at this time, is it not?
Yeah. So I'm like finally done training at my new job. I'm switching
Mhm.
over to the shift I was hired for is for 11 to 7. As much as I've liked the uh, basic corporate 9 to 5 schedule, like
Yeah.
11 to 7 is more my speed. I'm just not a morning person. I
Yeah.
this goes before my restaurant days. Like on my weekends in high school, I would sleep in till at least 11, if not noon or later. Like,
Absolutely. Yes. For sure. 11 to 7's good. You know what I mean? It's like 11's early enough where you can wake up, get ready, and go to work. It's not like you wake up and you got to be there at 3 p.m. So you have basically a full wasted day. Like
right.
you can't really do much and enjoy it. So it's like wake up, go to work, 7 o'clock, especially in the summer. It's still light out. It's nice. It's
Even
good
right now,
shit.
it's still
Yeah,
getting a little light at 7 o'clock.
for sure. Baseball starts in like 3 days. Things are
Yeah.
looking up. So it seems like every time we talk on this show, you as a person are leveling up. And this week is no different if we're allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, we are, man. I mean, it's funny that you texted me, I guess it was Sunday or Monday, like,
Mhm.
hey, you got time to like do a Mike calls to me? I was like, of course.
Yeah.
And we settled on Tuesday, and then you were asking like anything new that you want me to write down. Pretty much didn't have much to offer, and then all of a sudden, I got word that we're under contract to buy a house.
Oh,
So that
yes.
is very big news.
That's great, dude. Great news. Congratulations.
Yeah, I guess we got pre-approved. It was either late January, early February, and
Mhm.
then from that point on, pretty much every weekend, Kat and I were looking at places.
Yeah.
Um, the first couple weekends we were more just like it was exciting and we could see ourselves selves living in some of those places, but
Mhm.
we really didn't know what the fuck we were looking at. And like it was more towards like now that we
Yeah.
finally like knew what the hell we were looking at, and we could kind of have some hindsight on those first few places we looked at and be happy that we didn't put in an offer on a place that we might have regretted later.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. That makes total sense.
Our
So,
realtor is one of my best friends, Sean Castle. He was
Castle. Yeah.
yeah, he's been on the pod and he was in my wedding. Really good
Mhm.
dude, and he also like he's not just my best friend. Like he really knows what the hell he's doing, and
Mhm.
you know I think because of that friendship, he's also able to just be honest and be like, I don't love these things about this place, but this place also, this is where it is advantageous.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so
Which is
yeah,
very important. Very important to, make that decision where you're spending the most money you'll ever spend in your life, most likely. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
where are you
and
going?
we're going to it is East Mount Airy,
Okay.
which Mount Airy is right near the whole like Wissahickon area.
Mhm.
So Kat's restaurant Kuma, she works at the King of Prussia location. They are probably like 95% sure they're going to open a new location in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of threw a monkey wrench into like where we were thinking of moving, because I was kind of hell bent on the Delaware area and Wilmington,
Yeah.
very affordable, um, nice areas and
Mhm.
homes. And then this kind of came along where she'd be having to go to Jersey and also be accessible to King of Prussia, and that changed our gaze, well, really Cat's gaze, to the Manayunk Roxborough area.
Okay.
And that's where we first started looking at a bunch of places, and they have a lot to offer. And I don't know shit about Roxborough and Manayunk. When I grew up, in Drexel
Nothing.
Hill, Upper Darby, I
Mhm.
never ventured over there. So it was very foreign to me. But in looking at a lot of places there, it's a pretty cool little area.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, someone like my brother will immediately say, like, well, you got to pay the Philly tax, and he's right. It is a little
Yeah.
more expensive because of Philly tax, but
Yeah.
the town's fucking cool. Anyway, we aren't living there. We're living in Mount Airy, but Mount Airy it's very much nearby. It's like right off of Lincoln Drive, like I said, near the Wissahickon area.
Mhm.
It's great, and like it's a perfect 30 minutes to Jersey, 30 minutes to KOP. You do
That's
have
not bad at all.
No. Yeah, and you do have to contend with 76, which is a bitch, but
For sure.
it's still a very doable commute, because when we were looking in Delaware, that would have been like a 50-minute, maybe hour commute to King of Prussia, and
Mhm.
probably pretty much the same to Jersey. Um, and like all of Chester County just isn't fucking affordable anymore. We did look a little bit in Phoenixville, where our buddy Keenan lives, and we
Mhm.
looked a little bit in Downingtown, and like the essentially in my mind, like the same house is just so much more expensive. It just
Right.
is.
Yeah.
And it's not like that location solves Cat's commute problem. It's like
Right.
it'll be fine to King of Prussia, but to Jersey, it's not easy. So yeah, so that's where we landed.
Man, so this is your first time not living in Westchester in how long? And not living in an apartment?
I know, man. So I'm 39 years old. I think I moved here when I was like 23-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a significant chunk.
Yeah. And Kat too, because she
Yeah.
pretty much moved here once she left college. I think she lived briefly with her parents, but then quickly found her way to Westchester. This has been our home for quite a while, and I mean, like I said, with the housing market, it goes to the apartment, just the housing, all housing in general. It's not just
Mhm.
to own, to rent. It's just ridiculous.
Yes.
We're getting gouged just to, like, so our lease is up in August. We were kind of trying to plan for that,
Mhm.
when we'd find a home around that lease being up time, but things moved rather quick and didn't work out that way. So we have to break our lease. We're getting gouged for doing that.
Uh,
Um, yeah, it's a whole fucking racket. It's ridiculous. Like, I feel I love this town, and it,
mhm.
it it truly was my home for such a long time. It'll hold a
Yeah.
special place in my heart. But man, I can't not feel this sense of resentment right now for the way that we just can't afford it out here. It's not like we're poor,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like we do all right for ourselves, and we can't afford this town. Like who the whatever. It's a whole different discussion.
It's terrible. There's nowhere to live anymore. Everything is, bad right now, but
Seriously.
fuck it. You're in Mount Airy now. Is that how close is Mount Airy? I don't know shit, right? Geography wise outside of this part of Delco and Delaware. Um, but is that main line? Is that near main line?
The main line's basically Route 30. That is the main line.
Okay.
And like Route 30 kind of starts down. I guess you would be considered like Western Philadelphia, kind of Northwestern, and it
Mm,
just shoots out all the way through
Lancaster.
Malvern. Yeah, it
Yeah.
goes all the way to Lancaster. So that's really, I feel like Malvern's the cutoff of the main line, because then past
Malvern's
Malvern,
insane. If anyone drives
dude.
through Malvern, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you want to talk about yuppie areas? I mean,
Woo, those are some big fucking houses.
really all the main line, because it's your Berwyn's, your Devon, your
Mhm.
Wayne. It's like Nova, of course, is there. Like
Yeah,
just the richiest of the rich.
absolutely. I keep seeing this article that Pennsylvania is one of the best places to live in the country, and I haven't read it, but I assume it's one of those fucking towns on the main line.
I mean, our realtor says that that's part of why Chester County is so expensive and is so desirable, is that the school districts are apparently very, very good. And
Mhm.
that's also something that, spoiler alert, if I haven't said it on this podcast, Kat and I are not planning on having kids, so
Right.
we don't give a shit about your school district.
Right. Yeah. That's a good thing. That is advantageous to buying a house. Something you don't have to fucking think about.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we kind of we talked about it before even getting pre-approved. We really hashed out what was on our priority list, and like, I think, we're talking like the kitchen's going to be important, and
Mhm.
I just want a tiny little back area for a grill. I just want enough space for a grill.
Yeah.
Little things like that. But then as we talked it through with Castle, he was like, it seems like location's really what's paramount for you guys, and he was
Mhm.
right. And that being said, where we're at, it nails it right on the head. Like, this is a perfect location for us.
Good shit.
And
Happy for you, Tim. I can't wait to see what happens next month, for crying out loud.
I feel like we got to take a break for a little bit. But yeah, we were, before putting an offer in on this spot, a couple weeks ago, we were like very close to putting an offer in on another place that, it was a flip. So everything in it's new. It was a great space, great location. Once again, well, location turned out to not be so great. The block it was on, I thought was great. It was police station was literally right across the street. There was like gentrified apartments right across the street. So you kind of got the sense that this neighborhood's starting to flip.
Mhm.
To the east of it is like proper Germantown, and that can get a little dicey.
Mm.
To the west of it, only like a couple blocks, are these big, beautiful, gorgeous homes. It almost reminded me of like Lansdowne.
Mhm.
But parking was trash. Kat went
Mm.
there after work one night to kind of scope out the parking situation, and also just to get a general vibe of when she would be coming home from work at night.
Important.
And she just overall didn't necessarily feel safe. And I can
Mhm.
totally agree with her. So we finally pulled back from that. And thank God we did, because we found this place.
Good shit, Timmy. Can't
Yeah,
wait
man.
to see your new home. I've never seen your old one except in this small window I'm looking in right now, this one particular view.
You're not missing much. I mean, I feel like I've done this before.
No, I've never seen this.
So
Oh,
there's the kitchen
nice.
and my laundry drying. So like
Drying rack. I
when
haven't
I
seen one of those in so long. That's such a classic.
I feel like if you put it in the dryer too long, it just shrinks your shit.
Yeah.
So when I say like the living space here is great, this is what I mean. Like the living room and the kitchen are great, but
Mhm.
down this hallway, it's just the bedroom, and that door is the bathroom, and that's it. That's the apartment.
That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
I thought this was just a wing in your apartment. Saw
Nope.
your gaming keyboard, very fancy. Folks, you're going to watch the video of this on YouTube. You're seeing all kinds of stuff that you can't see when you're just listening. But oh, you got your hair cut by an apprentice? That's before you bought a house. That was all we had to talk about. So thank God you bought a fucking house.
Yeah, this would have been a super boring episode. Yeah, so I needed my hair cut. I forgot to make an appointment, so I just called the day of on a Saturday,
Mhm.
and they're like, just walk-ins are welcome. I'll put your name on the list, so you'll be like second in line. I was like, oh sweet, yeah, I can be there in 15 minutes. I got there, I was ready to go, or I was still like next in line, but the guy who owns the place, I've been going there for so long, he just knows who I am. And he
Mhm.
was like, hey, I have an apprentice here. If you want to get cut by him, he can take you right now. And he'd
Yeah.
actually be doing us a favor. And I was like, yeah, sure. I had nothing planned for the day besides like getting my haircut. So dude's name was Wonder. He was this tiny little Hispanic dude.
Wonder.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I get a buzz cut.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
asked,
say it's not too complicated.
totally not. How can you really F up a buzz cut? I do like when they put the comb in my big ass eyebrows and kind of trim them up, and I
Mhm.
asked them to knock down my beard a little bit. Might as well while I'm there.
Mhm.
And he did it right next to the owner, so the owner kind of like guided him along at certain points. But my haircut that typically takes like 15 to 20 minutes, it took like an hour.
Oh, did it
But
really?
yeah, like he stopped frequently to make sure he was doing it right,
Mhm.
but he nailed it. So
You look good.
and it turned out to be free. So I threw the guy a 20 and called it a day.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
I just thought
Yeah.
that would have been cool to ask Brittany about that. Like,
Mhm.
if that's like typically how, you know, do newcomers get into that business? Like, do they have any sort of credentials before they get there?
Right. Uh, yeah, that is an interesting question. Do they have to go to hair school? You know what I mean? Will like some
Yeah,
places not hire you without a hair school certification or whatever? Or maybe Wonder's just off the street doing buzz cuts.
right. Yeah, like was he just the designated guy who like cut his family's hair?
Right. Sweeping up. I think that's how you start. Washing hair,
Mhm.
sweeping up the floor, answering phones. Oh, I need a haircut. But that's just one of those things that I don't get a buzz cut. And I get I get about 1 or 2 haircuts a year, and then I just let it grow until it looks shitty. Get it cut. Takes a long time because, it's so wild, but, I Brittany cuts my hair,
Mhm.
so I don't mind, being in the chair for a while. She's my friend, and I don't mind giving her a lot of money because, if I got, like, a haircut every week, I'd pay less every week, but I get 2 haircuts a year, so I'm throwing down a lot of money, you know what I mean? I'm a fair man, but she does a great job, with the beard,
Mm.
like, the way she cuts my beard. Tammy's always like, "You look really good." And then whenever I try to do it, it just looks the same as it always has, like, and kinda shitty, but she's a pro, capiche?
What's her barbershop if she doesn't mind?
She currently works at the Razor Bar, which I think is mainline area. She used to work in Westchester. She used to work at, Champions in Westchester. I don't know if you're familiar.
I am. I've never I have some friends that go there. I had already picked my barber at that point.
Yeah.
Um
I wanna start going to are you familiar with Booth's Corner?
yeah, well, I mean, I'm familiar with it because of Doom Thugs. You guys talk about it all
Oh.
the time.
But you've never been there?
No.
No, I wanna go there to get my hair cut. It's like the whole thing, it's like, if the building feels like at any second it could collapse, and it's like every different stall and store seems like it's like when you rent an area, they're just like, "Yeah, do whatever you want," and, like, you just put up some wood paneling to make a store, so it's the barbershop's like that, and it's just like I know I would never go there, but you just look inside when you walk past, and it's just like one 1,000-year-old dude cutting another 1,000-year-old dude's hair. They've probably been doing the same routine since World War II, you know what I mean? It's
That's
very
very
nice.
that's very much my father. He doesn't anymore, but so they've lived in Kennett Square since 2003, and he would drive all the way back to Drexel Hill to hang out at Al and Fred's barber shop.
Alan Fred, what a
It
classic.
was literally like, and it was like a neon, one of those old neon signs, and it was like Al hyphen Fred
Fred.
barber. And that's kind of the vibe. You go in and you get like once again, a haircut that probably takes 15, 20 minutes, but they take like an hour and they
Mm,
bullshit. Those guys were very into boxing. Like I remember as a kid,
yes.
we went to a couple boxing matches together.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Just
an old dude thing to be
yeah,
super into boxing still.
very much the scene from Coming to America when, you know,
Yeah.
the guys are all talking about Cassius Clay versus whoever.
Oh, man. So, this month, I had 2 surprise parties to go to, 2 weekends in a row, in the same family in New Jersey. So, I had to drive my ass out to Jersey for my cousin's surprise party, cousin Joe, Doom Thugs veteran. You met Joe?
Yeah, he was down at Tattooed Moms,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
I mean he definitely was on the pod for a period there.
He's a good boy.
Yep.
The boy's turning 30,
Oh shit.
a young man worried about turning 30. I would love to turn 30 again. I keep trying to tell these young people that, but that's life, you know. No one will ever, you'll never get it. Like, you dread turning every age, and then when you turn the other age, you're like, man, I want to turn that age, but you don't understand. But that's life, babe. And then next weekend, got to drive back to Jersey for his mother's surprise party. 2 interfamily surprise parties in 2 weeks. Add to that, uh, we all went to Bruce Springsteen together. My uncle bought the tickets for his family as a surprise. There's so much deception in my New Jersey family. It makes me crazy. It's like, what can I talk about? And I purposely didn't, well, not purposely, but I just didn't tell Tammy about these parties. You know, one less thing to stress about is trying not to ruin the surprise, because they were coming to the baby shower and stuff. So we were at, so the baby shower happened. Then Bruce Springsteen happened. Then it was my cousin Joe's surprise party. So that's, you know, we don't see our cousins in Jersey that often. We see them like Christmas for sure, 2-3 times a year. Other than that, maybe. So seeing them 3 weekends in a row is wild. So we're at, and I told Tammy about Joey's party like 2 days before. And then I did not tell her about my Aunt Patsy's party, which was the following week. I'm not telling this very clearly, but we're at my cousin Joe's party. The next week's my Aunt Patsy's surprise party. She has no idea. My wife Tammy does not know that the following week my aunt has a party. My aunt and I were joking about how often we're seeing each other and we're having a good time. It's like, oh, 3 weeks in a row. This is crazy. So as we're leaving, Tammy says to my aunt, oh, I'll see you next week.
Oh, man.
And then, okay. And then Aunt Patsy didn't know what she meant. She was like, yeah, I'll see you next week, because the joke was, we've seen each other 4 weeks in a row. This is crazy. I'll see you next week. Fun joke. Played it totally cool, except my uncle was behind my Aunt Patsy doing like a neck slash. I don't know what me and my dad's faces did, but I like instantly felt hot and was like, yeah, because remember what we said earlier? Yes, earlier we said like just totally not cool.
Just diarrhea of the mouth.
Just an absolute spaz out. And then we got outside and we're talking to our cousins, and they were like, oh, are you guys coming next week? And Tammy was like, what's the next week? And she was like, oh, it's my mom's surprise party. And she was like, oh, I just told your mom I'd see her next week, which is like totally like, you know what I mean? It's like so razor close to like completely accidentally ruining the surprise. Luckily, everything was fine, but it was just so very funny. And you know, obviously Tammy was mortified. I'd be mortified. It's like, oh, I fucking blew it. But yeah, she didn't know. Next week, huge surprise. She had no idea.
Well, good. But it's almost like you didn't tell Tammy specifically for this scenario, that
exactly.
She would like let it slip, like, oh, I'll see you next week. And she did it anyway.
Exactly. Because I thought we were safe. I'll see you next week. What?
God damn it.
But it was so good. It was so fun. Love to see my family. You know, everyone like everyone's getting older, which just sucks. But
yeah, today
I see everybody
while working. So like a lot of my job, I'm just looking at like Google Maps and like looking at like the history of the behavior of these little GPS devices that we handle. And I almost kind of have to like investigate why it acted a certain way. But I can still listen to a good amount of podcasts and like kind of gather what's going on at the same time. So I listened to Monthly today and heard the whole Bruce Springsteen concert.
Oh yeah.
And that one dude that was like FaceTiming live or something.
For those not listening, I don't think I properly described this guy on Monthly. Some people just listen to this show and that's fine, but there's this okay, so the row in front of us, there was this little bald man who was like so fired up, and like I tell you, he was just like dancing so hard. He was like running up and down the aisles, like high-fiving people and stuff, like just trying to get everyone to like high-five him and stuff. And he's like all over the place, bouncing around like a fucking Super Bowl, and just like in people's way and in people's space. And yeah, what Timmy was saying was like at one point he had his back to the stage so he could take a selfie video, and whatever, that's the modern era. A couple minutes or a couple seconds or a picture. A full song, this motherfucker was singing into his camera, pointing at it. It seemed, I don't know if he was on FaceTime or if he was streaming live or that was just a video he recorded for his personal use.
Right.
But it was like, dude, get out of the aisle. First of all, you're in the fucking aisle. Stop. Like everybody had to be like, excuse me, but get out of the way. And it was just like all night. He was like, at first, like me and my dad were like, is this gonna so this guy's starting the concert at 11, at 12, at 15. Is this behavior going to keep going up? And like eventually there's going to be a security situation, you know what I mean? But luckily he
reeled it in a little bit.
He started at the peak and went down, which was good. But at first it was like, at first it's like, this has the potential to fuck up the whole night. And I didn't talk about the two people next to my dad. It was like they rolled in late. It was like, a guy and a man and a woman in early 50s, late 40s, maybe somewhere in that classic rock age. And they were like all over each other, like not looking, like she was just like all over him, like right in his like ear, like, I love these seats are so great, but they're not even looking at the stage. Like she just got her face like all over him, and like they're like, yeah, woo. And it was like, man, I mean, you try not to be judgmental. Everybody has fun in their own way, right? It's like, so I don't want to but it's like, I don't get it. It's like, this seems like wasted money, but whatever. They were dressed in green. It was St. Patrick's Day. He kept telling us, what time the show start? Couldn't get an Uber because they came kind of late, and then just like fucking made out the whole time. It was very strange.
It's like, it's why I still can just sit on the boardwalk on a bench for hours. You're just people watching, like just, observing the public can be so much fun. But it is like, you're not like 16 at a movie theater to like make out, you're at a concert.
You spent a lot of money on these seats.
These are $30 to $50 tickets. You're seeing Bruce, dude.
Pretty close too. Like she was right to be excited about the seats, but it's like, what? Enjoy it. Like, I mean, you could give this old dude a hand job later. Like,
right?
Watch the fucking show.
Yeah,
damn.
It's funny too. I've heard Warren on the podcast before kind of say how much he's down on concerts, and I don't understand that take, because like at the other concert you were at where you kind of got muscled out of the way by some hipster douche. I get that, where you kind of like claim your space, and it's just kind of common courtesy. It's, unwritten rule that like, I've claimed this, now fuck off,
Yes.
And if someone tries to nudge you off your spot, that is shitty. But for the most part, like, I still love going to concerts. Like there's just, it's just so cliche, but there's not much that can rival that live sound and just the bass that just like makes your bones tremble. And And especially when you're going to see someone you love. Like I'm going to see 2 concerts, one in May, one in September of like bands I've loved for forever. And like I
Tell me.
guarantee so May 30th, I'm going to Thrice.
Mm,
Um,
fuck yeah.
so they're kind of like not hiatus, not quit, but they kind of like have taken a back seat just because they're getting older.
Yeah,
And they have families and shit. So
for
uh
sure.
they are like touring in celebration of their 20-year anniversary of Artist in the Ambulance, which is like one of my favorite albums from them. It's probably the album that like got me into them. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's my favorite of theirs, but still, like it's a great album. So
And
I was like,
it's one of those shows they're gonna play the whole thing.
I believe so.
Love it, love it, love it.
And like it's been a while since I've seen them because of their little like hiatus, but I guarantee when I go and they just like strum a note just as they walk onto stage. They're not even like starting a song. I'm probably going to get chills. Like
Hell yeah.
it's just an indescribable feeling. And then the
Where's that
second,
show at?
I believe it's at the Fillmore.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, I've only been there once. Also, to answer your question, Helium is not the place across from the Fillmore. The place that's across from the Fillmore is like the Laugh House or something,
Okay.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
gorgeous too. I've been there a couple times. Um, Actually, most recently, Kat saw her favorite comedian is Eliza Schlesinger.
Eliza
Yeah,
Schlesinger.
she
Yes.
fucking loves her.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting us sidetracked, but the other concert I'm seeing is in September. Postal Service and Death Cab are playing together,
No
and they're
way.
and they're also doing like a anniversary tour of Postal Service's only album, Give
Yeah.
Up, and then Death Cab's Transatlanticism, and that's the album that got me into Death Cab. So it's very very similar vibes. That
That's
that one's at the
cool.
Man, and the Man is like hands down my favorite venue in Philly. Like it's what this turd in Camden wishes it was, and just is such a fucking nightmare. I
Oh,
hate
well, the man is like public radio. The Man is like classy. You know what I mean? The
sure.
place in Camden is like WYSP. It's like dirt and mud. You know what I mean? It's like
Yep.
different vibes. But yeah, the Man is out is yeah, that'll be nice. The district sleeps alone tonight. Yes. Are there crossovers in the members of those bands? I'm sorry, I'm not fully familiar.
Yeah, so the lead singer is Ben Gibbard, and he was part of Postal Service. Postal Service is apparently only 2 guys, and
Okay.
they
Yeah.
got their whole name because I don't think they even got together to record the album. They literally
Yeah.
just like sent whatever in the mail, sent it
Yeah.
back, and like created a song.
And kids, this is a long time ago. It's harder to do it then. You had to
Yeah,
usually literally use the mail. You couldn't fuck it. Just do the whole thing on Twitch with your bud.
right.
That's great. What was the last concert you've been to?
I think it was Jimmy Eat World and Third Eye Blind.
Shit.
And that like Third Eye
Not
Blind is
two bands I would think would be together, but I like them both. That's cool.
yeah. Jimmy Eat World's another big band for me. I've always been a big fan. My brother and I, we've seen them way too many times.
Yeah.
And that's who I saw them with. It was with Josh and his wife Lauren, and I was with Kat. Lauren didn't really know any of the songs, but
Tough.
she
One
still
of
had
the
a good time.
toughest things I think is to
She fed off of our vibes, I think.
That's good. That's good. She was a trooper.
Yeah.
So many fucking hits on that Bleed American album, or
Dude.
what was once called Bleed American until the towers fell. But you know what I mean. Jimmy Eat World, I think it's called now.
I think I've if I haven't said it on this pod, like I owned that album when it was
Yeah.
still Bleed American, like the physical disc.
Yeah.
And then yes, 9/11 happened and they had to rename it, so I guess it's just self-titled now, but
Self-titled.
I lost that actual disc. I brought it to work at Applebee's when I was like 19 or whatever, or 20, and I think someone yanked it.
Tough. But I was talking to a buddy I work with because one of the fucking songs they play at work is The Middle. And I was saying, that's probably my least favorite of all the fucking huge hits off that album.
Sure.
It's
I
the
agree.
most played one, but it's like, so is all of Jimmy Eat World's radio from that album? So there's The Middle, there's is the first song "Bleed American,"
Yeah.
and then there's the
A
song
per-
that's like
Go ahead.
there's the "Take My Pain Away" song.
So that's on Futures. That's on a different album.
That's a different album.
Yep.
Okay. And then there's
Sweetness.
If You're Listening, whoa, and that's on Bleed American.
Yep.
Okay.
Still a banger. Still love that song.
Oh, hell yes. I couldn't imagine seeing that shit in concert. I'd lose my fucking mind.
Oh, and there was one time I saw him at the Man, and they played Taylor Swift's "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together."
That's fun. That's a lot of fun.
And like the second he started playing, at that point in time, I didn't really know Taylor Swift's music, but he's just like, as he's playing it, I'm like, this sounds like a Taylor Swift song.
That's great. I saw Cake at the Man.
Oh, yeah. So it might not have been Third Eye Blind Jimmy Eat World. I saw Cake. I saw Brand New there not that long ago. Man, sorry. We're just like rattling off bands, but.
And then that's where I saw Phoebe Bridgers at the Man, but she wasn't down in the amphitheater. She was on like
the Skyline
stage,
the
side stage,
yeah,
which is strange. I don't understand it, but whatever.
I guess, yeah, I don't get it either, because like maybe they don't sell enough tickets, or they don't think they're going to sell enough tickets, so that's why they stick them over there. I don't know.
I want to sit. That's my big thing now. I gotta have a seat.
Sure.
But I don't. I stood through Wise Blood, and I was strong, and I left. And very strange parking situation at that place, but who gives a shit? Bought $13 beers. Who cares?
But what were they, like 24 ounces?
Yep. Big boys.
Yep.
So I'm having a kid soon, which is insane. So I'm working on different things. Like I've been doing the no phone days. My next move is to not have my cell phone on days that I'm off work. You know what I mean? That's like my next goal. But some challenges in there are having a pregnant wife and still wanting to be in contact with her if need be. So now I have so to stop using my cell phone as much as I do, which is a problem for me, I now have a house phone landline, and I have a burner flip track phone that is for emergencies only, for like when I go to the gym and stuff, and it's like if there's a big deal emergency, I could be reached on that. But anyway, we have a house phone. I was saying to Tammy, and I wasn't fully exaggerating. I was obviously exaggerating a little bit, but when we talk about, how we want to be as parents, it's like, I don't want my kid to see me on my phone maybe his entire life. You know what I mean? I definitely don't want to be, just sucked into my phone all the time in front of my kid, because I have to be a role model, right? And it's like he's being born into that world of over technology, and if I could be an example of that, you don't have to be sucked into that shit. I want to be, but it's like, dude, it is tough. You know what I mean? I got a VCR. Capiche?
It's funny that it might just be that we're just enough years apart that like the being truly addicted to your phone like doesn't really hit with me. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was 19 years old, and that was like, a dinky little flip phone like you're describing. And like the smartphone is fantastic. It's like revolutionary, changed the world. But like, if I'm not really texting somebody, I don't play games on it. I'm only on the Twitter machine, so I'm not like getting sucked down a social media rabbit hole. I don't watch videos. Like I really don't watch YouTube. I don't watch really anything.
Yeah.
But I get that like a lot of people, that's their go-to source of information and like entertainment.
Not even that. It's the go-to to fill any second of boredom. That's the thing I want to avoid. That's Conan was talking about it. Conan has a podcast. He was interviewing Michelle Zauner from the band Japanese Breakfast. And he was saying how he thought it was important for his kids to leave time for boredom, because when you're bored, that's when you can think and that's when you can create and do all kinds of things. Whereas my issue is every second that there's downtime, I'm reaching for my phone. To do what? To look at Twitter, Instagram that I looked at 10 seconds ago, which aren't going to be any different. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's like an anxiety thing. It's like like I don't want to be bored. I can't be bored. It's beneath me to be bored. I'm a human. I have the power of the entire world in my pocket. I could look at anything I want. I don't ever have to be bored, which is flawed thinking. And it's just like, it's like, I don't even want to look at it. It's just muscle memory to constantly be up. Well, I have 3 seconds to kill. Better reach into my pocket. And now when I put my phone away, or when I'm at work, I'll put on a podcast and I'll put my phone like on the shelf. You know what I mean? Do my work. I'm still, for the first 10, 15 minutes, every second I'm reaching in my pot, like trying to grab something that's not there, which is, it's addiction, which is what it is. I mean,
wow, that's crazy.
I'm not trying to, yeah, it's bad. That's why I'm taking all these steps. That's why I have a house phone now. That's why. And I'm, I've tried to be like, well, I just won't use it, but it's just, I'm fucking going to use it if it's there. So that's why I'm more of a, just put it away and don't use it.
Yeah. I mean, back to the concerts thing, just like you described with that guy living his best life, that's something that doesn't interest me at all. I might take a video of my one favorite song that gets played and like take just like a 30-second video, and the rest of the time I just like go out of my way to stay off my phone, because like I want to absorb the moment. Like I want to live in it. If I'm living vicariously through this fucking Black Mirror, it's totally different,
For sure. And that's another thing that is more of a societal issue. And also I'm guilty of a little bit of the Twitter brain rot, whereas which I'm trying to get away from. But it's like sometimes I'll be like, I'm enjoying like, oh, I'll put on a movie, right? And I'm enjoying it. And it's like, well, I have a responsibility to let Twitter know that I'm enjoying this movie. You know what I mean? It's like if I don't, I'll be a man. I'm eating at this new restaurant. I gotta fucking tweet about it. I gotta do all this shit. And it's really like, no one gives a shit what anyone thinks, but it's part of that fucking, that giving everyone the huge platform is like, yeah, of course, everyone's going to want to see me sing a selfie video while Bruce Springsteen's playing. It's like everybody, that's like the whole, just the social media age where.
Yeah, it's like hitting this specific brain path of like serotonin for you.
For sure. But it's also bad now. It's stressful. It stresses me out. That's why I don't use my phone on certain days. And that's why if you want to get a hold of me, Tim, you got to call my landline, which you know all about. You're old.
Dude, I still remember my best friend's phone number in middle school, 789-1883.
Oh, not even an area code. That's how folks, we're older. Okay.
My phone number My dad, like when we moved into Drexel Hill, he asked the phone company for an easy phone number, and they gave
Yeah,
us 449-9499.
that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Some of my friends from high school like still call me to this day. They just call me by my, or like that's, instead of calling me Tim, they
Yeah.
call me 449-9499.
Yeah, I could call Chris Wrench's home phone right now. I could call Jonathan Locklear. I got a couple memorized. They just won't go away. But who the fuck will answer if I call? Who knows? That it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? We're all gonna die. No, but for real though, one thing you may not remember about VCRs is how loud they are.
Yes. Yes.
Totally forgot that it's like you enjoy the movie and also hear this constant like whining or grinding.
Yeah. It's a high pitched whine.
Yeah.
I don't know how I used to tune that out.
Yeah. Yeah. It never even occurred to me that that was a thing.
But yeah, it's good that you're like cognizant of your phone addiction because so many people just aren't, you know.
Mhm.
It's same with like being in public places with friends. You know, I go out of my way to not touch my phone. I'm
Mhm.
here to hang out with you. I'm not here to fucking check out Twitter while you're next to me. You
Yeah.
know, like I recently hung out with my brother. Now, bad example because my brother's older than me, so we're also just we're not really of the generation that's addicted to our phones, but like you know, I don't think we took out our phones really at all. We would check them like when we went to the bathroom. That's pretty much it. So I get it. Like you're not connecting with anybody on your phone, really. You need to like have human interaction, especially post-COVID world, man. We
Yeah,
were
for
devoid
sure.
of it for so long.
It was our only connection for a long time.
True.
And in some relationships, it is my only connection. It's like,
Mhm.
I have friends on Twitter that I'm only friends with on Twitter. And I'm not, and that's all fine. And, I'm better at when I'm hanging out, it's not an issue. Like I said, the issue is the mindless, like, I'm trying to read this year, right?
Mhm.
I'm on my fourth book and it's in the third month. That's good. But it's like, how much time could I dedicate to reading, which, is proven to be good for your health, your brain, your fucking vocabulary, everything. Uh, the hours that I spend, fucking just laying in bed scrolling mindlessly. Now, there's a difference between I have something funny I want to tweet. I'm going to open Twitter, tweet it, you know, look at my friends' tweets, whatever. That's one thing. The other thing is, well, I'm going to just fucking stare at this because if I, don't, I'll have to sit here and not stare at something. Or it's like, oh, it's just you get stuck in these fucking holes, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. If I go on Instagram because I have a picture I want to post, or I haven't been on in a couple hours, I want to see what my friends are up to. That's one thing, right? The bad thing is going on Instagram every 2 minutes because you think, oh, I might have missed something. It's trying to find balance. It's
Mhm.
like, as someone that does podcast and, videos and all these things, I do think it's important for my hobbies, my passions, that I do have an online presence of some sort, right? But it's a balance. It's a work-life balance. It's not work. No, I'm not getting paid, but same thing. It's like it's finding balance in life, which is what you try to do in every aspect of life. Am I wrong?
No, you're spot on.
No.
But yeah, I mean, we kind of glossed over it, but you are like 3 months away from baby due date.
May 20 They moved it. It was originally May 25th. I think it's May 23rd now. So
Okay, so
today is March 28th. So
2 months.
2 months.
So I recently hung out with Keenan and Mandy. Just went out to Phoenixville, grabbed a bite to eat. Bullshit. I do get the sense that he's like a little nervous, and kind of piggybacking off of what we're talking about with like just mental health and like just where our brains are at. He can get tunnel visioned into these like holes of just life, and I think he worries about adding a child to that, obviously, but
Yeah.
he'll be fine. Do you have like any? I mean, it's probably a dumb question to ask. Do you have any anxiety for your?
Here's the weird thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty like, I'm not calm in the sense that I think it's going to be easy. I'm fully expecting to get my ass kicked, but I accept it. I have no delusions that I will know how to do everything right away. I know it's going to be a difficult process in some ways, and other ways it'll obviously be very rewarding. But it's like, I have anxiety in terms of the nursery's not ready.
Mhm.
And I have anxieties in terms of work schedule stuff, things like that. And a lot of that I've been told by other parents is like, don't, that shit. Like, it's like, I keep saying in my soul and my heart and my meeting my son, I feel ready. In the physical world of having his shit ready and all this stuff, I'm not ready. I'm often told you're never going to be ready and you're never going to feel ready. That like there's always going to be shit to do and don't worry about it so much. So I'm thankful for that. I'm most nervous about my wife physically having a baby. You know what I mean? That's my biggest concern. I just want her to be okay and the kid to be okay, right?
Mm.
Everything else I'm more excited than nervous about. The parenting part is like good. I'm not going to get too caught up right now in thinking about the world that this kid is going to live in, because we've got a lot of time where he's just a little tiny fluffing nugget who doesn't even exist in the outside world. You know what I mean? So that shit I'll worry about later, because it's not, why worry about it now? But surprisingly, for how much of a spaz and fucking jackass I am, I feel I'm just like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm calm. Now, that being said, fast forward a month, I might be writhing on the ground crying. Like, but no, I'm very excited. And I do believe that this will be selfishly good for me to get me out of my own head. You know what I mean? I have something legitimate to worry about. I could stop thinking about myself. But it's still like, there was a time there, I'm still scared all the time. Tammy got pregnant and it was like cool. And then there was like a situation where it was like, oh, a health scare. And then it was like, oh shit, now I'm going to be scared all the time, which I am. But I think that's healthy. You know what I mean? I think that's like a animal brain type thing, is wanting to protect my wife and child. But
Yeah.
I can't wait. Everybody's been so nice. Everybody keeps telling me that they think I'm going to be a great dad, which is very nice to hear. I sure I'm going to try real hard. You know what I mean? And I'm going to try my best not to die. I really can't die for a while. I got a lot to do.
You're definitely going to be a great dad. And I mean,
thank you.
Same with Keenan. Like I worry about his brain.
Yeah.
But when it comes to taking care of the kid, he's going to be fine. Like he's already raised his nephews basically. So he knows how to handle an infant. And like I know he definitely, even when he was with his previous fiance, like he kind of made the decision to like I think he deep down wanted to be a dad. I think he just didn't trust himself. He didn't trust his mental state. And
Mhm.
I think it was also a little bit coming from her telling him that no, because of your mental instability, you can't be a dad. And
Oh, sheesh.
I know. And like, I think it took, being with Mandy and being with someone that like truly supports him, number
Mhm.
one, and telling him, no, like everybody's got some mental deficiencies.
Mhm.
You're fine. You can be a dad. And she also
Yeah.
definitely wanted children. It was like, okay, this is why they work well together.
Exactly, yes. Yes. And when are they due? They're right before me, right?
Is it?
Or right after?
Yeah, it might be the first week of June. I
We're in the
forget.
same zone.
Yeah, they're having their baby shower like 2 weeks from now, so I think they are after
Oh,
you by
sick.
like a little bit.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah,
Keenan's having a kid. Adam's having a kid. My friend Sean's having a kid. Another one of our friends. It's a nice little wave we got going here of play cousins.
Kat and I are happy to be cool aunts and uncles.
Good, yes, yes. Which is
um,
whoa, a very good position to be in.
I
No, thank you. There she is.
speak of the devil. When you guys were you were talking about on Doom Thugs Monthly about like mom shaming and
Mm,
like it's tough for me to comment on that because I'm a person that's not going to have children, but like it does seem like a little overboard with like all of the warnings of like you guys were talking about like how you shouldn't have lunch meat or something. It's like,
yes. You get
okay, like
listeria.
get it, but like we need to like relax a little bit.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. But I think I'm like most of it's just fun. Like if you're not a psycho, your instincts are probably going to be pretty good. You know what I mean?
hmm
It's like don't smoke cigarettes. Check.
got
Obvious,
it.
you know what I mean? Don't drink. Okay? The big two we can all agree on. You know, and then it's like everything there's so many things that are like mushy. It's like caffeine, don't have it, but then something like you can have some, and it's like, yeah, then what could happen? It's like, and then like some people are like, well, you can only take acetaminophen, and then you can read like, well, if you take acetaminophen even one time, then your kid can be autistic. So it's like so much shit shoveled at you, and it's like luckily we're not around anybody like this, but I do feel for mothers that are just like anything you say, you could feel another someone like silently judging you or
hmm
outwardly judging you, telling you shit you didn't ask. You know what I mean? Which is worse.
Yeah, I
But
guess I'm bringing this up from like the restaurant in me, and this is a bad comparison, but like when celiac all of a sudden was the thing, and
mhm,
everyone, it just got to the point where they would treat the restaurant worker like they're trying to poison them, and it's like
yes,
I would see a little bit of that pushback with pregnant women as well, and like it's like relax, like I'm not trying to kill you,
yeah,
I'm just trying to do my job and understand what you can and can't have.
celiac, gluten. Have you're not online, so you don't know about like so many adults are now claiming that they're autistic. Have you seen this at all?
I mean, so this is what I don't miss about Facebook. Like
Yeah.
this is where this type of conversation lives, and it just doesn't seem to be on Twitter. Or if it is, I'm able to curate my list enough to not fucking see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely on TikTok too. It's like
For sure, it's like
all these people diagnosing like
I'm
autism.
I'm
It's like
autistic. It's like I
yeah, it's
think
like
you're just a weird adult. Shut up. You don't know what you're fucking. You're just Mostly it's you're just a fucking white adult that wants attention. So you're fucking putting yourself into a marginalized group. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Wild times. Wild times. We're gonna run out of water, but I'll be dead. Fucking goddamn. So there was a fucking chemical spill in a Delaware River tributary, right? To date this a couple days ago. And this affects the tap water in Philadelphia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm in Delaware County. None of our water comes from the Delaware River. I was at Acme. People were going fucking ape shit over 24 packs of water like the fucking world was ending. These are problems that will never go away, but it's just so fucking frustrating how dumb people are and how like just prone to fucking
Hysteria
and just groupthink is just it sucks. You know what I mean? But I don't know. What can you do, Timbo? What's the secret?
for that. You're just fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you control a chemical spill?
I'm just trying to buy some fucking lettuce. Stop trying to run me over to get 15 cases of fucking water that you don't fucking need.
Yeah, as if going to the grocery store wasn't a nightmare enough. It's like one of my least favorite activities. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it blows, especially working in one and then having to go shopping in one. It's like, get me the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why just eat Taco Bell 5 meals a day, babe. Man, Tim, I gotta watch a movie.
Yeah, we do. We got to watch
True Romance.
True Romance. That is our next Tony Scott film that we will be covering on Pop Addled with you and Harrison.
We're doing that tomorrow, right?
We're doing that tomorrow night. Yeah.
Very exciting. This will be in the past by the time you hear this, but check out that episode of Pop Addled. That's going to be a lot of fun. I got it on disc. The much quieter system, still not silent. Especially if you're using like an Xbox 360, then you got a lot of noise. But I'm gonna watch my unrated director's cut DVD. Right?
I don't know what version I have. Keenan gave it to me. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you got it on disc too?
Yeah.
You going physical?
I'm going physical.
Nice.
I've had it for a while, and I know that it's like, Quentin Tarantino written, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, and like it's just a movie that's been on my radar forever, and I've owned the physical media for a long time now and just have never popped it in. So
you've never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Exciting. I haven't seen it in many, many, many years, but the cast list is insane. Excuse me. Fuck. Today's Tuesday. I got to work in a few hours. I got to watch this movie. Got to put my clothes in the dryer. Dan Mills, nice catching up with you.
As always. And yeah, you can find Keenan and I. We're on the podcast's name is Pop Addled. We're on Twitter, Facebook. We're on all the things.
So you just had an episode that was supposed to be about the Adam Driver dinosaur movie.
Yeah. It was mostly about that, but then we just I turned it into a topical because there was just many things that we hadn't talked about on podcasts, whether it was Mandalorian or Ted Lasso. And it's like stuff that we've talked about on the podcast previously. So,
how about last month we did our Oscar preview?
Oh, right.
Everything Everywhere All at Once cleaned up.
It really did. And
which is, I'm very happy about.
Same. I think that was my favorite movie of the year. If I don't really remember exactly what I said on the previous pod, I bet I did say that. The one that surprised me was Jamie Lee Curtis. I really thought maybe Angela Bassett would have won that for Wakanda Forever. And Jamie Lee Curtis is great in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I don't know. And I guess the other one that was a little surprising was I thought, what's her name for Tar? Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Thought she would win Best Actress, but I'm actually very happy that it went to Michelle Yeoh.
So glad she's getting her flowers while she's still here. And
right.
I hope this makes people like watch fucking, young people who haven't seen Crouching Tiger, or especially watch fucking Super Cop. Oh my god, that movie's so cool and she's so badass in it.
Or it even provokes someone to go catch Goonies, because Short Round is in it.
Of course, yes, yes. And Temple of Doom.
Right. Yeah, it did actually provoke my mom to see it because she's big into the Oscars and she's a big movie buff, and she does not do sci-fi. And she told me, she was like, I tried, Tim, and I had to turn it off. I couldn't get into it. And she's like, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, all right. And I tried to I was like, don't think about like exactly how the science works of the multiverse and like how she's gaining all of these powers from like different versions of her. Just kind of like go with the flow with that. But it's more about this like heartfelt story between daughter and
mother and father, and it's the family story is what counts. There's because I definitely got to watch it a couple more times to fully understand everything, you know what I mean?
Right. But like I tried to like divert her attention to that. She's like, all right, well, maybe I'll give it another try. I'm like, good luck, Mom.
Give it a try. You'll cry at the end. Come on, everyone does.
Right.
And did you see The Whale?
No,
Brendan Fraser won for The Whale. I'm hearing The Whale's not great, but he's great in it.
Exactly. I'm hearing the same. It's an Aronofsky, which I know him best, I guess, from Black Swan. So that
The Wrestler, my personal favorite.
But yeah, I mean,
Pie.
My brother introduced me to that movie actually years ago.
Yeah, I think I have it on DVD, maybe. Anyway.
Well, yeah, man. Good episode.
Thank you. I'll see you next month, which could possibly be my last month pre-baby.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
We'll see. We'll check back in with your mental state, see how your anxiety is.
Yep. Yeah. I got it all figured out. Okay. My kid's going to be well behaved. He's never going to talk back. Okay. I know what I'm doing.
Just make sure he doesn't pull a little Costa and chuck a hammer at your TV.
Hey, he probably will. I'm looking at all my belongings here, all my books and my DVDs and all these things I treasure, and I'm just, fully resigned to the fact that they're all going to be ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
Fucking, all, or best case scenario, once I die, my son will have to chuck them into a dumpster.